everyone, thanks for coming. We're in for another fun week of reading. It's Friday, so it feels weird to say that. I usually start filming videos on Mondays, but it's Friday today and I just finished a book, so I thought let's start the next video today. I picked 3 romance books for my June TBR out of my prompt jar. I wasn't sure if I was going to do a week of continuing series or romance, and I decided to do romance because 2 of the books are series, so I'll still be crossing some stuff off my list and continuing those. I also just kept seeing the pink on my pile. All 3 books have pink spines, and I thought that was so much fun. So we are going to be reading 3 pink spined romance books this week. I think I'm going to go from least to most excited to read them. I am worried that I'm putting too much hope in the 3rd book. I'll just go in with high expectations anyway and hope for the best. I don't think it'll be bad. It might just not be great. But we are going to start with An Offer from a Gentleman by Julia Quinn, which is the 3rd book in the Bridgerton series. I almost decided to stop reading the series. I read the first 2 books and instantly for both of them was like, oh my goodness, I way preferred the TV show. As much as I really didn't like Anthony in the TV show, especially for the first half, obviously, in the book, I never ended up liking him, I feel like. And I think I rated book 1 and 2 both 3 stars. But this is Benedict's book and he is my favorite in the TV series. I actually haven't even finished season 3, which is Colin, because it doesn't align with the books anymore, but I didn't even finish it because I wasn't loving it. So that's a little bit sad, but maybe this book will just bring me back into it and I will want to read it. I kind of hate that it's a mass-produced paperback, but that's what I have. That's what was at my local bookstore, so. And I'll just keep going with these. It's also kind of nice. Some people love when their books are all level on their shelf, and I kind of love when they're not. So it's kind of nice just to have a little series in the romance right in between that's just shorter than all the rest. This is book 1. Let's just go through all of them right now. Kind of like the idea of just showing you what I'm reading, and maybe you can just skip to a book that you're interested in seeing, or I don't know, maybe you want to stick around because they look good. Sometimes I use the bar at the bottom of people's videos just to hover over and see what they're reading later when they don't tell me anyway. So I'm going to tell you all 3 books I'm reading. So we're starting with that, which is continuing a series. Then I'm going to read Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score. This is also continuing a series. It's the 2nd book. I've said it in a couple of videos. I think I read the 1st book on a video, in a reading vlog. I think I had said that I had started it a year before and didn't really like it, so I put it down. And then I was on vacation. I'm like, oh, it seems like a vacation book to read. Honey, you're so in the way I love you, but oh my goodness. How about you go on the bed? There you go. Yeah, you're still very pretty. You're just not all in my face. So I read the 1st book and I liked it, but I didn't love it. But I liked the writing. I kind of didn't like the characters, especially Duke. Is his name Duke? Is it Lena who came in? Yes. And they were my favorite characters from the 1st book, so I have higher expectations for this one than I did for the 1st one. I do think I remember saying to myself, man, this 1st book is too long for what it is, so I fear we're gonna have that same problem again. Yeah, over 500 pages, that's kind of nuts. I think it's gonna be better than Bridgerton, but I don't think it's gonna be as good as the 3rd book we're reading, which is Funny Story by Emily Henry. If you don't know, I think I said it in my book haul that I bought this in and in my June TBR video. I prefer not to read hardcover books. Usually if it's a book that I want to read and that I'm looking forward to, I will either get it from the library or wait until it comes out in paperback to read it, which is the case for this. I think it's so sad that in most places you have to wait for a year, sometimes less, sometimes more, for a paperback version of a book to come out, because now her new book came out and I'm like, well, let's do it again. I am most excited to read this, and I think it's actually going to be a nice change after this. Currently, it is 12:15 and I have the rest of the day off work, so I'm going to do some laundry, I'm going to clean the kitchen, and then I'm going to start reading book number 1. I just listened to the prologue and the first 2 chapters, which is an hour and a half of the book, by the way. Page 55, this is where I am in the physical book. It's easily the best one I've read so far already. The prologue, first of all, quite sad. I got into it and I feel for Sophie, our main character, and now I do want to look up the name of the woman who Benedict is with in the TV show, because I don't think it's this person, so now I'm kind of confused. I'm gonna look stuff up. Also, I was like, oh, this is sad. It could be a fairy tale. And then it's very much become Cinderella. And I'm like, are the other first 2 books also fairy tales retold and I just didn't notice? That can't be, right? I have a few things to look up right now. My brain feels so jumbled. I'm sorry. None of that was concise in any way. Got to about an hour and 20 minutes, woke up from a nap and had to go back 20 minutes. So I did sleep for a little bit. So now we have coffee. It's 2:30. I shouldn't be sleeping. Are all Bridgerton books fairy tales? No. People on Reddit are like, the trope is just the same as the Cinderella trope. Lady Tilly Arnold. Yeah, that's not a character in this book. I think she was made up. Do we get a Sophie at all? Because she's my favorite character so far in any of these books. Anyway, so we're following Sophie, and I already said it's kind of Cinderella-ish. Her father was an earl, but she was born out of wedlock, and her mother died when she was born, and then when her grandma was dying, she left her on her father's doorstep, and he raised her as her ward and never took responsibility for his actions until he got remarried to a woman who had 2 daughters, and then he died, and now she's being treated like shit by this family. It's Cinderella. She's at a masquerade. She just met Benedict. It's very fun. He was my favorite in the TV show. He's my favorite in the book. I feel like he's just more observant than other people. So I'm enjoying it. I was listening because I really didn't want to start reading it. I was like, I didn't love the first 2 books. Am I making a mistake by reading this? I kind of started to spiral. I was like, let me just listen to it and see how it goes. Because I'm enjoying this so much, I'm going to ixnay the audiobook and I'm going to go to reading the physical copy. There's also something so fun just about reading a book and you meet the 2 main characters and you know that they're going to end up together, even though they're going to go through all these trials and tribulations. That sounded very biblical. I think that's why when we don't love a trope, we don't love it, because it's the point of the book and you know they're going to get together anyway, so at least make the conflict interesting. You know? We're back in the bedroom. I just realized I look a little haggard. It's the same day. It is 6 p.m. and I am on page 286. I can't stop reading. It's so good. I'm having so much fun. I can't believe I was going to stop reading this series. Benedict is the best. Let me first say, if I have a crush on anyone, it's Benedict, which I'm not surprised about. I knew from the TV show that he was probably going to act this way. I also have to say that the relationship between the mom, Mrs. Benedict. What is she? Lady Bridgerton, and her kids is amazing. It's so fun. It's perfect. I'm just picturing the lady who plays her in the TV show, and she is perfect for this. Like, they are the same. I think what I'm liking about the romance in this book specifically, it's not necessarily miscommunication as much as mistrust. I would say Sophie miscommunicates because she hasn't been raised in a way that she knows she can trust people, so it's a little bit more believable miscommunication. It still is getting a little bit long and annoying that she has this secret. The romance is still really beautiful. I find them fun because they bicker, and I love a romance couple that bickers and teases each other and know how to get under each other's skin, even though it's just to see the other one a little bit mad, and then they laugh together, and it's so cute. And I also think that the reason they can't be together is good because it's legitimate. The son of a viscount wouldn't be able to marry a maid. I can appreciate that for what it is. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm loving the little appearances by all of his siblings for the most part. Most of them are just like making these cute little appearances. But yeah, the romance is my favorite, definitely so far. I do really love Sophie. I think that she's wonderful, and I think that their like towards each other is believable as well, which I always appreciate when I'm like, yeah, these characters, if they met in this day and age, in this world, would probably still like each other, and that is very telling. Oh, and then I'm going to want to get the next one, even though it's not them, so I'm just going to be disappointed when I read the next one, I fear. Let's keep reading. I just realized that's probably loud. I have the frother going because I'm making myself a little chai latte. It's a little midday pick-me-up. It's 2 o'clock. I literally just showered, decided not to wash my hair, and regretted it as soon as I got out of the shower because I'm not a slick back girl, and we're going out for dinner tonight, so I will see what I decide to do. But, you know, I'm doing my best over here. That's a lie. I could not have my frother on, and I have it on, so I'm not doing my best. I don't know how it happened, but An Offer from a Gentleman is a 5-star read. How is the 3rd book in a series that I was planning on maybe DNFing and putting off? How is this a 5-star read? I was like, this is maybe a 3-star series, probably closer to a 2.5. I'm not loving it. And then this happened. I can't get over it. I'm obsessed with it. Any book that I read from, 2 to 7 in one day is a 5-star read. I can't believe it. I even had time to come downstairs and have date night with Zach. We watched Taskmaster, we played some Mario Kart, but before that I finished a 5-star read. And I was going worst to best, what I perceived would be worst to best in this video, and we're starting with a 5-star. So, we're starting off strong. I was just saying in my last reading vlog how I feel too critical and I never rate books very high lately. I love her. I love her. I love every main character in this book, Sophie and Benedict, but I would also say Violet Bridgerton, Benedict's mom, the kid's mom, is kind of in here a lot and kind of phenomenal. Love her. I think she's amazing. Oh, it's done. One sec. The mom is perfect. She is firm, but kind, and teases her kids and knows that she is well liked, but also doesn't let it get to her head. And the way that she treats the staff. And there's only one little plot hole, and it's to make something else happen, I think. Lady Whistledown writes that one of their ladies' maids has quit the Bridgerton house to go work for a house that everyone knows is a little bit worse off. Not worse off, yes, maybe worse off, but worse to their staff. And there's no explanation as to why she left. Maybe she was made promises that probably weren't true. I don't know. So that's my only one complaint, is like one paragraph where something is not explained as well as it could have been. But other than that, like, I can't complain about this book at all. So anytime I finish a book, I go to Goodreads and I mark it as read, and then I read all of the reviews, especially the 1 stars, because I think they're so funny. And people who rated this book low because Benedict is not the TV series version of Benedict that they were expecting, it just makes me laugh. Because surely if you're reading this, you've read the first 2 books, so then you know that that's not true. It's the same way for everybody. But also, like, the book came first. So they adapted his character to work better on TV than they do in a book. I don't know, it's just so funny. And I do think that deep down he is very similar. I think we get less of him in the earlier books, and they only have this many pages to give to him because they do read like standalones. There's not as much time dedicated to creating this character that you see in the TV show, but he is the same person. He's artistic and he's funny and he's witty and he treats his family the same, and I think he might be one of my favorite book boyfriends ever, which is crazy because also there's a lot of reviews who are like, oh, the mansplaining and the temper and all of this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, okay, but it's set in 1815. I don't know that there was a man alive in 1815 who was a strict feminist and the perfect gentleman all the time, but like at least Benedict apologized when he made mistakes and understood that he wasn't perfect and was sensitive and caring and kind. I don't know. I loved him. Book number 1, which I was expecting to be the worst, is a 5-star read, and I am happy about it. You know what? You don't have to read them all. If you're put off because I said I didn't love the first 2 books and we have similar ratings for other books, you can read this by itself. Not much about the first 2 books in here other than like where they are now that it's his turn. That's book 1. So now we're starting the next one, and I'm going to spend the next at least hour with Miss Lucy, going from pink to pinker, and couldn't be more excited about that. I will let you know what I think when I get there. My book, my chai latte, my couch. Do you want to come? You do? Yes, I do. Oh, you're so pretty. You gonna leave me already? Am I not petting you enough? Oh. 2 dogs. How did I get so lucky? Oh, one's leaving. Hi. Can I sit on the ground without you guys wanting to come say hi? No, I'm so glad that I can't. Hi. Oh my goodness, I'm not gonna be able to film here. The results of summer and shorts and tank tops and lotion. Okay, we've moved. So I am, I think, exactly 100 pages in to Things We Hide from the Light. Was expecting to get into this a lot easier than I have. And I think it's because I was wrong about everything. I was like, oh, this is his friend with kids. And I think I was thinking of Wild Eyes, which I've already read now. But this is his brother who doesn't have kids and is the police chief, and I didn't like him in the first book because he kept hitting on Naomi when she didn't want him to. I don't really appreciate men like that, so actually I didn't like Nash in the first book. So now in this one, he's a little bit better, but he is suffering with PTSD, which is why he is now the way he is, so it's actually kind of difficult to say that I like him better. I also appreciate the depth that that brings to the book. I don't know, I'm struggling. It also got spicy way faster than I wanted it to, which I think I thought about the first one too. Like, it's fine to be physically attracted to people. I wish that it was a little bit more romantic. I don't want to read. Like, I don't feel like it. It's crazy that the Bridgerton book I read in a day, and now I'm on day 3, and I'm only 100 pages into this one. It says a lot. I guess. I'm not disliking it. I just thought that I would like it a lot more. I do like that they are in their late 30s. I do appreciate that about this book. I appreciated that about the first book, and they should hypothetically be a little bit more mature, I hope. And I was expecting this to be the same as Wild Eyes and Wild Love, where there's a kid, a single parent trope in every book, but there's not. In this one, it's not a child, it's a dog, and that is what is keeping me excited about this book. So yeah, if you didn't know, something happened at the end of the last book, and now we have Nash with some PTSD because of it, and we still don't really know Lena's job and the reason she's there. She says it's to visit, but we know that's not true, but now we have her perspective every other chapter. I think they're probably going to start working together because they have a common goal, is my assumption. She just moved in next door to him, so it's the girl next door. Now I wish I read this one first and Bridgerton next, but that's okay. It's Monday, and Zach is gone for the next 2 evenings after this one, so 3 evenings in a row he's gone. So I'm gonna take these guys for a quick walk, and then I'm going to hopefully read all night. That's my current update, 100 pages in. Don't worry, we're gonna go out as soon as I'm done this update. I just read for like an hour, I would say. I was on my phone a lot. It tells you the caliber of book or how I'm feeling about it currently, in my opinion. But I'm on page 176, chapter 16. And I only have like a couple more thoughts since yesterday because I'm really not that much further in. I fear we are kind of going towards a I don't need prescription medication or therapy because I have love situation with Nash, and I'm a little bit worried about it, but I hope that it's him feeling that way and not our author being like, yes, this is fine, because the people around him are now finally starting to notice things and be like, I think you need help. So hopefully that comes out. In saying that, Lena is amazing. I think that she is handling it well. There is some weird stuff going on, like between them two. I don't really need to read the words sex juices. I could do without that. And it kind of threw me off and I didn't want to read. And that's why we're now taking a break and I'm gonna take the dogs for a walk because I need a break after that word. It's also really good to know that I still dislike Knox in book 2. Every time he's in it, he's in a lot because he is close to his brother. Nash is a much easier main character to read than Knox was. So it's amazing that I'm reading book 2 that isn't about Knox and I'm still complaining about Knox more than I'm caring about either of our 2 main characters. But also Lucian and Sloane, is that her name? I think they're going to be the 3rd book and I think I'm going to eat that up a lot more than these first 2. There was actually just a beautiful moment between Lucian and Lena. They are having a conversation behind Nash's back about how each of them thinks he should be properly cared for by the people around them, and both of them questioning each other's intentions. And I think that it's wonderful and beautiful, and you can see that they really care about him without saying the words, because it's she doesn't care or doesn't want to, and it's not manly for him to care as much as he does. There's a lot of the patriarchy that has to be taken down in this small town. Let me just say that. They have a lot to work through about men and their emotions. So I'm gonna hopefully read a lot today. It's 3:30, it's not too hot. We're gonna take these guys for a walk. I'm doing it early so that I can come home and just kind of spend my evening reading. I hope. I said that to myself yesterday and then I probably only read for like 30 minutes yesterday. I hope I do a little bit better today. I finally finished Things We Hide from the Light. It's a couple of days later. I was really hoping to finish this yesterday. And at like 3 o'clock, I was like, okay, I'll walk the dogs now so that I can just finish it and read all night. I came home to a not so nice surprise of the washing machine that I had turned on before we left, leaking from upstairs into the kitchen ceiling. Needless to say, I didn't read, and Zach was out of town. He's finally back, but that was not a good evening. So I made myself a comfort grilled cheese and watched someone watch Miss Americana on TikTok part 39 parts and then went to bed after I turned the water off and had a friend come over to make sure I turned the water off right because like I don't know what I'm doing. So I finally finished it today, just now. I liked it. I'm kind of like now trying to remember what I said at my last update. I think there were some things that I was struggling with and some things that I was liking, and that hasn't changed. I have realized that I really like Lucy Score's writing. I enjoy the writing. As you can see, I highlighted so many things. I think most of it is dialogue, honestly. The way that she has characters, either internally or externally, describing their epiphanies, especially, and the ways that they're feeling, just find myself so connected to. The problem is, as much as I love her writing, I'm not totally sold on the story. It's better than the first one in that I really just thought Knox was an asshole. But in this one, it was actually more the side plot that I wasn't entirely sold on. 574 pages, and I would say about 350 plus of those pages is them going back and forth with each other and internally about why they shouldn't be together, but they want to be together. And it's a little bit drawn out. And then the side plot stuff, it wasn't given enough time for me to really care about it. But then there was a plot twist that I appreciated and was surprised by. There was one that was supposed to be a plot twist, and as soon as there was an inkling, it was guessed, which I'm sure it is by everybody. I don't think I'm unique in that guess. But then there was a good plot twist that I think I audibly gasped. So I'm like not really sure where to place this. I'm going to read the third one. I'm very excited for the third one. Like I said, I really like Lucien and Sloane's story, and I think I'm excited to read it. And I really like Nolan, who's a new character in this book, and I really hope he's in the third one. I think he's going to be, but maybe just from afar. I'm not sure. I like Nash. I really like Lena. I appreciated the characters and what they went through. I just think it didn't need to be nearly 600 pages of it. Nash was a really good cop. I think he was great at his job, and it wasn't, I was gonna say it wasn't black and white, but actually he's known in this book for being black and white about things, but I disagree with that. He's very protective of Lena, and I found that very endearing, and I loved it. At some points it became a little bit him not trusting her and her process, which I think is realistic with the kind of person he is. So I'm okay with that, but it made me angry for her. I got an ick because there are only so many times that 40-year-old men can be involved in fistfights, or 30-year-old or 20-year-old or 70-year-old. Fistfights give me the ick. I think they're immature in real life and in books. Again, it goes with the character, but like, I like to read about characters that I would maybe enjoy hanging out with. When it's a small town romance, I'm like, it shouldn't be the morally gray characters that I don't find relatable but enjoy reading about, because those books are good too. But small town romance to me feels like I should kind of want to hang out with these people, and I don't. I will leave my review at that. I'm giving it 3.5 stars. Yeah, like I said, Zach came home, so we are going to spend the rest of the evening together. We're gonna date a little bit. But this is the next book, and I'm very excited because I've wanted to read this since it came out. I know that people have mixed reviews, but I also have kind of, since it came out, avoided any talk of it that I could and just kind of skipped through stuff because I didn't want to hear anything, because I want to form my own opinion. I am fully aware that I might be going in with too high of expectations, but I don't think it will let me down, because I think I had too high of expectations for People We Meet on Vacation. I just said that so grody. People We Meet on Vacation, which is the last book I read from Emily Henry. So it was like the 4th or 5th book I've read from her, and I still liked it. I'm that hoe for Emily Henry. Don't yuck other people's yum, except for I hate that phrase. So I'm gonna yuck that phrase. What the fuck am I talking about? Hi guys, popping in for my update. If you're curious, that is the dryer sitting outside of the bedroom so that the washing machine could be pulled out. Anyway, I'm going to bed. It is 9 p.m. I'm gonna read until I am too tired. I'm loving it. I am, how far am I? About halfway. It's currently sitting at a 5-star. It is living up to my Emily Henry standards, so that is awesome. Totally relate to our main character, Daphne, like a scary amount. So she's living with Miles. This is them. I think they're supposed to be written in an opposites attract kind of way, but they also are just kind of perfect for each other. And Emily Henry knows how to write banter and knows how to write heartbreak and have a bigger plot, so there's other things happening at the same time, but not that they take over the love story. And she knows how to write tension. I'm loving it. I feel like I need to wait till the end to give like a full 100% of my thoughts update, but currently it's 9 o'clock and I'm a bit worried I'm gonna stay up too late to read. It's Monday tomorrow, so like I gotta work out, I got work, I have a doctor's appointment, I have stuff to do tomorrow, but all I want to do is stay up late and read. I just felt like I needed to give an update, otherwise I'd be done and not have given an update at all. And the update currently is 5 out of 5, no notes. My check-in yesterday was like totally disjointed and a mess, and that's because it was bedtime and I was like in the middle of a 5-star book, so my feelings were just kind of not coagulating. So like, you know how our washing machine broke less than a week ago? Yeah, Zach just texted me he's waiting for BCAA because he took my car because construction was in the way of our driveway and we can only get my car out, and it broke down. He says it overheated and coolant is leaking out of the bottom. I hope that thing that bad things come in threes is not true. You know when you're a kid and you want to be an adult? Don't do it. Anyway, I just finished Funny Story. I was like, let me gather my thoughts and come back later. And no, I just need to talk about it right away because this book is phenomenal. I am actually so surprised that people didn't like it compared to the rest of Emily Henry's books. But I think the people who didn't like it would be surprised that I am not the biggest Happy Place fan. I didn't dislike Happy Place. I rated it 4 stars. But this is what a 5-star book is. I was laying in bed crying while I read last night. I kept saying, just gonna read one more chapter. You know how you do that? And then didn't even realize that I had started another chapter multiple times. So I read for like an hour and a half last night and now just finished after work today. I cannot believe how amazing this book is, honestly. So I might have to like reword some of my thoughts from yesterday and make them a little bit more coherent. So you start with Daphne, who's just moved in with her fiance, Peter, or they just bought a house. He just bought a house and she's living there. And then he comes home from his bachelor party and he's like, am dumping you for my childhood best friend, Petra. Petra's boyfriend, Miles, shows up at Daphne's place and he's like, is she here? She left me a note that she's breaking up with me. She's like, no, but I have to get out of this place because they're coming back. And then he's like, okay, you can come stay with me in my spare bedroom. So they move in together. I would say the first half of this book is not a romance, but this is actually a story of vulnerability and the growth of friendship. I think this story is so perfectly told and the vulnerability is amazing. And you know when you read so many romances that are dual POV and then you read one that's just from her point of view, I was worried it would be missing something because I've read so many dual POVs lately. This tells me more about what Miles thinks than some dual POVs where you get the male main character's point of view. I just think it couldn't have been better. I was picturing this as a movie or like a mini series the whole time, and for me that is an indicator of a wonderful book. If I can visualize every moment that's happening, their friendship that then grows into a romance that then grows into this understanding is so wonderful. And the slow introduction of characters and her building these friendships with other people, not just Miles, because she's in this whole new town and doesn't know anybody and is just kind of counting her days until she can get out, but she's meeting these people and making adult friendships because she's in her 30s. It's so relatable. So that brings me to the point that Daphne might be the most relatable character for me that I've ever read. But I was just like reading things to Zach last night and he was like, you might need to bring this book to therapy. And I was like, yeah, I might. I'm not really gonna add to that, but if you've read this, I relate to Daphne more than any book character in my entire life. The things that she's anxious about and the things that she feels and the things that she's brought with her from childhood are not identical, but I relate to them on this whole weird level that I know I'll be reading this book again. I actually think I like doing it. I'm just not good at it and it stresses me out feeling like I'm making someone wait on me. Relatable! Oh, she made a joke. As soon as I said it, I feel that familiar oh shit dip in my stomach, unsure whether the joke crossed this invisible line. Relatable! I cannot believe that I read 3 romance books and have 2 5-stars. I will be thinking about this book for the rest of my life. And now I'm like, why did I rate Bridgerton 5 stars? Which maybe makes this a 6-star book. Shit, this is a 6-star book. I am going to be living in this bubble instead of the everything in my house and my life is breaking down bubble. That's all I have to say about that. Thanks so much for watching and for coming with me this week and for, you know, letting me talk about romance books. I'm so happy that this worked out well for me. I am so worried that the next book I read is going to just not be as good, so I need to be really picky. I will leave it at that. So thank you so much for coming. Bye.